Hey guys, this is David Crone with Horseracingiscool.com. We're going to talk about the Donn Handicap right now. Donn Handicap's this weekend, February 6th, Gulfstream Park. You have the horse that's probably the best older horse in America right now. I don't see who else you can really make a case for other than him. Quality Road. Quality Road last year, phenomenal 3-year-old. Absolutely phenomenal horse. Should have been the Derby favorite in my opinion off of his Florida Derby romp. Over Dunkirk. Before that, he had beat There Goes JoJo in the Fountain of Youth handily. He came off the shelf, won the Amsterdam in just a sterling performance. His Travers, third to Summer Bird. I really question if Quality Road is a true mile and a quarter type horse. I think it's greatly overrated in America how much emphasis we put on mile and a quarter type horses. I don't think there's anything wrong with a horse being the best miler in America. A lot of people look at that as almost a black mark on a horse's record if they can't go a mile and a quarter. I think that's one of the things a lot of the Zenyatta proponents will point to with Rachel Alexandra is Zenyatta's proven at a mile and a quarter and Rachel isn't. I think Rachel's probably better at a mile. And I think Quality Road's the same type horse. I think he's a miler. The mile and an eighth of the Donn shouldn't really affect him. I think that this is, a distance that he should still be able to handle. The question has always been with Quality Road, other than his feet, are his mind. Is this horse ever really going to put it together? Is he ever really going to mentally be where he is talent-wise? You see this in all sports. You see basketball players, football players every year that, physically they have every tool you could ever want. But when it comes to mentally, they just don't quite have it. Look at Michael Vick. The only thing stopping Michael Vick from being the best quarterback maybe of all time is right up here. And he's only 5'11". But Quality Road, he's a freak. He's ultra talented. He's not maybe the horse I would kind of compare him to, I guess, if I had to pick a horse's hard spun. That's who his talent reminds me of. He's a horse that's definitely probably at his best from 7 furlongs to a mile and an eighth. He can still definitely get the mile and a quarter. He was never going to beat the ultra elite. Now, in last year's Breeders' Cup, he might have had a shot had he gone in the starting gate because there weren't ultra elite horses this past year. But if he had been around the year, Curlin and Street Sense and those horses were around, he probably wouldn't have won the Breeders' Cup, just like Hardspun wasn't quite up to those horses. He's not a mile and a quarter horse like an Invasor or like a Ghost Zapper. He doesn't have that level of sheer ability at the mile and a quarter distance. But Quality Road is a really nice miler. And this mile and an eighth of the Donn is really going to probably just make him way too tough. Considering most of the horses that people are giving a shot are coming out of this Fort Lauderdale, I find it tough to see them beating Quality Road. The horse I think can maybe knock him off, and I don't think he will, but the horse that I kind of like in here with Quality Road is Past the Point. Past the Point has always been a very talented racehorse. He's run a lot of really good races, including last time out when he ran a really good second in the Mr. Prospector behind Custom for Carlos, who's going to be one of the top sprinters in America this year. So, Past the Point's a Saratoga freak. His Woodward behind Curlin was an exceptional effort. And he's never really run like he did in August of 08 at Saratoga. But he does have a lot of talent. And this isn't an overwhelming race. This isn't a spectacular group. So I really like Quality Road, and I think Past the Point just on sheer talent is going to be there at the end. I don't think he can really compete with Quality Road, but he could run a good second or third. And You and I Forever, I feel the same way about. You and I Forever can run second or third in here at a pretty nice number. The horses like Kiss the Kid and Mambo Meister and Duke of Mischief, they all ran in the Fort Lauderdale. They all ran as good a race as they had ever run. To me, that comes up a little bit fishy. When a race rains off the turf and 3 horses come out of it to run as fast as they've ever run, I start to question the validity of that number. Even Dry Martini, who ran 4th in that race, ran pretty much the best he had ever run. Not ever, but the best he had run in the last year and a half. He's a 7-year-old. He's not quite up to his 5-year-old form. but to run as fast as he did was a pretty stark contrast to what I think he's really capable of doing these days. So I question how fast the Fort Lauderdale really was, and if you don't like those horses out of the Fort Lauderdale, you're left looking at Quality Road with You and I Forever and Past the Point, two horses that you might get pretty decent payoffs in second and third with. Mess around with those horses and exactas, maybe go a little bit deeper in some tries or supers, and I think you can make this a pretty good betting opportunity. I think if you take the Fort Lauderdale and just throw it out, you say Quality Road's probably just the best horse in training right now in North America, at least colts. If you just say that, then I think that's the way you play this race, and I think it's a pretty decent spot. So Donn Handicap, it's going to be a good race. If nothing else, we get to see Quality Road, who's one of the brightest stars in the sport right now. So it should be fun, and I'll look forward to it. Hope you do too.